Hello again and happy Wednesday. Welcome to another live with me, Ella from empathyneeded.com. So just wanted to say that if you have any stories that you would like to get a reading from, so there are two types. There are paid readings, which will be private, just you and me, and then there's the public readings, which are for free. So you just basically tell me your story. Feel free to change the names if you need to, and then I will do it as part of the live, and it'll be public. So again, we have four more stories, and I hope everybody's having a really good day. It is 2 days until the live stream, Valentine's Day live stream with Shell on Friday. And yeah, looking forward to it. Deep in the throes of the prepping for that, and yeah, I guess let's get started. Uh, Today we have four new stories. Oh, that's so soothing. I do like it. It's just really, really soothing. And it just takes my energy vibration to a different level. And it just takes away some of like stuff that just doesn't need to be there. All right. So let's go on ahead and put this one right there. And shuffle, shuffle, shuffle these cards. Angels, archangels, highest frequency vibrational beings. Please join us today to give the highest reading to everyone that's questions are being answered, and uh, everybody who these messages are going to touch. So, all right. So the first story is Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie has. I have zero tolerance for cheating, but I am having an emotional affair with my boss. Girl. Her questions are: do I tell my husband? Why is it like this? And should I quit my job? Oh my gosh, I just love people's lives and just the constantly dramatic happenings in people's lives. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer because I feel like this one might be a long one. Um, all right, let's shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Stephanie, I love the absolute contradiction of I have zero tolerance for cheating, but I'm having an emotional affair. I just love the fact that we have zero tolerance in the same sentence as zero tolerance for cheating in the same sentence as affair. Well, I mean, you could be like, okay, yeah. Anyway, so, oh, wow. The first one is a swords card. Girl, you need to let that go. um, all right. So it feels as though you okay, so I'm going to go ahead and answer your second question first, which is why is it like this? So the initial feeling that I get for why it is like this is you are seduced by power, and that your boss has I get this I'm actually seeing the vision of a man who is very charismatic, like got it together. He smells nice, he looks nice, he carries himself with just that heady masculinity. So when you go to work, you're almost being all of your senses are being hit with this level of seduction. And also there's the other part, which is the fact that your boss is being intentional in, well, at least the feeling that I'm getting is that he's intentional in his flirtations um and his seduction of you. um so I don't know what this emotional affair consists of. um because to call it an emotional affair, it's different to like, oh, we're hanging out with someone, we're doing some work. There's got to be like flirting, there's got to be, text messages, maybe intimate lunches that, on company time, whatever that looks like. I do feel like it actually does feel a bit emotional affair-esque. So okay, fair enough. Because how sometimes somebody can um say a word to say a word to describe a situation, but then when they break it down, you're like, that's I, I'm pretty sure that's not what that means. So, but this one, it does feel I'm due feeling. Sorry. Yeah, I am feeling the emotional affairation. Don't mind me. I'm like just a bit energetically tapped out right now. So if I say some words that don't exist, you just gotta have to bear with me. Um, all right. So I do feel as though that this affair is not going to go anywhere. It just is a strictly in the workplace type of situation. And of course, it's like toxic and just but yeah, I just definitely feel like I would be seduced by the boss man, because the image and the feelings that I'm getting about this man is like he's powerful, he's funny, and he's in charge of your paycheck. And I don't care who you are, but there is like a level of performance when you're at work, because you don't want to lose your job. And I do actually feel as though this for you is more than just a job, that it's a career, that it's something that you're looking like you studied for. There's a feeling of having committed to this position before you got this position. So I feel the longevity of, even if it wasn't this position in this company, that you would be still doing what you're doing in another company in a different location. So, you know, maybe he's doing what you do, so, and he's been there longer. And obviously if he's your boss, there's the seniority part of it. So that's just some heady stuff. Yesterday we were talking about crushes, but this is clearly more than a crush, because this some things are going down. So what is your other question? So why is it like this? I feel like it's like this because you're being seduced, you're being actively seduced by a lot more than just seeing somebody. There is his activeness, and then there's the circumstances that are very seductive. So now, do I tell my husband? Let us see. That's interesting. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so if I do feel like if you tell your husband, and you tell your husband that it was an emotional affair, I feel like I don't know if he would be like, I don't think he would take it seriously, but obviously, okay, so with men and with women, men and women are sort of drawn to different things. So, at least having had conversations with some of my male friends, they would be more hurt if their female significant other had sexual relations with this other person, even if it was just a one night stand. Whereas with women, are more likely to forgive a one night stand, as long as there wasn't an emotional aspect to it. So with men, they seem to get hurt by the physical aspect of an affair, whereas with women seem to get hurt by the emotional aspect of an affair. So it feels as though your husband, not so much that it won't take it seriously, but if you did talk to him, once you said, at least it feels this way, I had an emotional affair, he might just whittle that sentence down to affair, and then might ask you, did you sleep with him? And you will go, no. And therefore his fear level may go down from a 10 to a 4, and be like, So I feel like this it came around the the cut it out side. So I think he would just basically ask you to cut it out, like stop it, stop doing what you're doing. Why are you doing this, right? um so uh so if you tell your husband, I feel like there is going to be that expectation to stop this, because even if it is a emotional affair and you haven't gotten physically intimate with each other, there is still a level of disrespect to your marriage. So, especially because, and that's probably why it's so big in your head, because if he was to do the same thing with someone else, it would devastate you. There is something about, especially as a woman, there is something about an emotional affair where it's like, you could not, like, a partner could not sleep with me for a very long time, but show me affection, show me some level of affection, show me, like, it doesn't have to be flowers, but like, pick me up, give me like, pick me up when I'm feeling emotionally down, give me a hug, give me some attention. So, like, if he was to tell you that he was having an emotional affair with someone else, 10 to 1, that would really devastate you. So I think that just really think about what it is that you're doing, and also the why. I do get a sense that you are feeling guilty about the affair, the emotional aspect, the affair aspect of what's going on. Even though you're enjoying it, you're enjoying the attention, you're enjoying the attention from this man of power. There's a feeling of just, being chosen and being special enough that he's paying you this extra attention. But there is the guilt. So I think that the guilt aspect is like, and then obviously asking for my advice about it, that there's something about within you that I feel knows what the right thing is to do. And should I quit my job? Um, I I do I think, okay. So the situation, to answer that question, I feel is a little more complicated than a simple yes or no. It just simply, so should I quit my job? If you're continuing in your job, you're continuing to see your boss. And I do feel as though he was active in pursuing you and seducing you to get into this situation. I'm not saying you didn't have anything to do with it, but if there's anybody who will look at it, the more of the responsibility was on him, because you are his subordinate. So there is there's always an aspect when one of the parties in a situation is a subordinate, because and then there's the consideration of, were you coerced, were you was your keeping your job under threat if you didn't go along with this. Now, you seem to be taking a lot of accountability, as in, like, this is something that you enjoy, fair enough. But then also, what would that look like if you were to put an end to the relationship? Even though you know it's not going to go anywhere, we all know, I can see that it's not going to go anywhere. And if your husband tells you to cut this off, what would that look like with your boss, who may want to continue um, with this flirtation situation? And another thing you don't know, maybe it's a flirtation right now, as in you're being groomed to, at one point, y'all have to take a trip away together, and then it turns into something else. So, should I quit my job? What will that look like if you stayed? And what would it look like if you did quit your job? Do you have another job lined up? Are you able to get another job? Is getting a job in your industry? Because I feel like this is not just a job. This is not just I can get it tomorrow and leave next Thursday and get something else. It feels like it's a career. It feels like you're in a specialized field. So what does that look like? So I think that you are aware of what's the word? The the bigness, the bigness, the comprehensiveness of this situation. So I don't have any like simple answers for you, but to reiterate, um, do I tell my husband that I'm having an emotional affair with my boss? I feel like if you did, he's going to ask you to cut it out. And then that goes down to your next question. The third question is, should I quit my job? If your husband if your husband asks you to cut it out and expects you to stay at the job, what does that look like? If you have to quit your job, how easy will it be for you to find another job? Can you quit your job and be without a job while looking for the next job? Or, like in a lot of situations, you're going to have to continue in your job while looking for another job. And what will that look like? So this is, and then what is it? Is why is it like this? Obviously, the conversation was because your boss is very charismatic, and it's just the masculinity and the power and the. I get the sense that he smells really good, and oh, there's something about someone who smells really good. Woo! Yeah, because I mean, we've all been on like a date or just seen someone who looks good, and then you get close to them, and then you catch a whiff, and suddenly all those feelings die. So anyway, it feels like it smells really good. So your level of seduction is just being hit from all sorts of angles and directions. So I think that for your own peace of mind, you might want to start looking for another job. And if you are going to tell your husband, maybe tell him the day you've put your 2 weeks in. So if he's like, you need to cut it out, then you can be like, okay, I'm gonna not go tomorrow. I don't know. So it does, however, feel as though that you would be okay in finding another job, um, another position, more like. And it just doesn't feel like it would go anywhere with this guy anyway. Yeah. I do also feel I've got like 30 seconds left on this one. I do also feel like there's something about moving um and having a long distance relationship. So I don't know if your husband is the one that's okay, so maybe I don't know if it's like your husband who's going to have to work from far away, and he's going to come back and have to travel back and forth, hence the cut it out. In that case, I feel like, girl, that might actually graduate to something more physical. I don't know, we might need to have a private conversation about this. But anyway, I hope that helped. And so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. uh Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. So that was an interesting one. I love how when um I get these questions, I kind of forget about them until the next day because like there's just a lot to do. So I'll forget about them until like I'm about to do them. Hence the surprise as to like what is this? So I'll write them down and then I'll go about business. That's the other thing about when I'm channeling. I'll channel something, and a lot of times I don't know what I've said until I go back to it. So yeah, sometimes the questions, it's like, oh, okay, they seem so harmless on the surface. And then when we start consulting tarot doesn't lie. Tarot has its own agenda sometimes, but it doesn't lie and it tells some information. It's interesting how you can ask a question with tarot and then it will give you some information that you're like, wait, no, this is not what I asked. But then there's a feeling of this is what this person needs to know. So it's almost like tarot has its own thought form, its own it's neutral, but it definitely has an entity-esque aspect to it. um it's alive. Anyway, so next one. Huh. Feels feels like something's in the air. I wonder what it is. I sometimes get those feelings like something's in the air. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so question number two, reading number two, is from Tate. Tate says, when I'm sleeping, I have dreams, and then the next day I have or see the thing that I dreamt about happen. What is happening to me? Is this all real? How can I stop it? Oh, my friend, I am so. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the situation because that used to happen to me in an aspect. I used to I love I love reading and I love writing. And so sometimes well, I guess channeling. I would channel and some of those things would come to pass and it just felt like or I would like have dreams about stuff and it would be like a recurring dream with similar characters doing similar things and then when I'd wake up I'd feel a similar way and then it would come to pass. I mean it was never the next day. It would be like a couple of days at least and then a couple of weeks down the line and a couple of months. But this is interesting. That you'll have dreams when you're sleeping and then the next day you'll start to see what's going on. All right, so let's see what's going on with you. I get the feeling that you're really freaked out by this. And I completely understand. I completely understand because when I realized, so I can't say I realized I was an empath, but I knew that I felt certain things. And I always knew that I had the ability to see spirits, but I knew that that would freak me out. So we had a conversation from very early on that I'm like, y'all don't present yourselves to me in my outside eyes. I need to see you in my internal eyes because I don't want to freak out. I don't want to see Grandma Jim and then see through her and see the clothes in the wardrobe through her. Like that's just no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I need to be able to know that I'm communicating with the spirit in a way that I can centralized internally. Because if it's external, I'm gonna run. I will still run to this day. So as much as you've seen me like channeling spirit and stuff like that, it's a lot of it is internal. If I saw Aunt Betty standing right here, I gone, abandoned. No. Anyway. Tate, what is happening to me? Let's see what is happening to you. My friend, you have the gift. You have the gift. I feel like you have it's so interesting. I was just talking about I have the ability to communicate with the other with the spirit realm. So have you, but it freaks you out. And there's just this feeling of like, okay, so I get an image of a house and there's like two living rooms. One living room is all of the people who are currently incarnated in the physical body. The other living room is full of all the people who are in spirit. And then there's you who is able to first of all be aware of that door between one living room and the next, and also physically jumps between the two. Whereas the people who are incarnated know nothing about that door. They just ask you like, where'd you go? And then the others in that living room know of the others there. So that's just the image that I'm getting, that you have a gift that you are suppressing. You're suppressing it in real life, and therefore it's coming out in your dreams. That's essentially what's happening. Is this all real? Really, Tate? You have consulted somebody who calls themselves a psychic and does tarot, and you're asking me if this is real. Like, we're in the same boat. You okay, fair enough. Um I think that you're fighting with yourself in a way that um is I think that if you embraced your gift and you allowed it to if you allowed yourself to express it through your everyday life, that it would actually be very um it would be good for you. Because here's one thing that is unfortunate about our life and the societies and communities that we live in. It seems to have been set up by people who have a general one size fits all perspective and perception of what life should be and what a certain person should look like, whether it's like women, role fits into a woman, man, role fits into the man, child, this. And so anybody who doesn't fit into that is either going to be shunned by the community or just spend a lot of time questioning whether they're normal, questioning whether they're worthy of being there because they don't seem to fit into these boxes of expectation. So I I think so, and as a result, so many of us uh spend so much time suppressing and trying to explain away our gifts and explain away things that are part of us instead of, and a lot of times as well, we can be surrounded by people who have no idea what you're going through and don't even know how to deal with it. And so because you also don't want to feel that rejection, you suppress and you explain away and you're like, no, that is not. So it feels to me as though something has shifted within you, your energetics, your body, or whatever, and that this gift is ready to come out and be expressed. But it's fighting with you and your ability to kind of you're very well trained. I've got to shut it down. And so it's coming out in your dreams. It's coming out in your dreams to the point where you're like, this is freaking me out. Like this is freaking me out. And I feel like that's what's happening. Um, how can I stop it? The question, how can you stop it? I don't think you can stop it. I feel like you were just born this way. You were born this way, and I feel like you spend a lot of time distracting yourself from it. I feel like you spend a lot of time just denying it, suppressing it. But I do feel like if you took the time to actually allow this gift to express itself through you, it would make you a lot of money. It would bring a lot of abundance and prosperity your way. It would, and what would that look like? It would look like connecting with like-minded people. Um, when I say connect with people, not everyone who is in this new age spiritual psychic community is going to align with you, but you again have a gift to be able to discern whose energy, whose spirit, and whose personality actually aligns with yours. So get out into it and talk to other people. You'll find that you are not abnormal, especially with the like the blowing up of tarot and spirituality and new age stuff on YouTube, on like TikTok, on all the social media. You're gonna bump into someone who is going through something similar to you. And I think that once you can find other people that are going through something similar to you, that will begin to get you into to a point of acceptance of what you're going through, who you are, and then you can stop fighting with your gift. Because there's another thing, you know, when you're think of a blocked dam, like when you the water that's coming through the dam does not stop flowing simply because you put a stopper at the end of where it's supposed to come out. It just means it's going to get backed up. And with all of that pressure, at some point, it's going to remove that barrier, and A whole bunch of water is going to come through and drown. And so I feel like you're at that stage right now where you've just spent so much time suppressing, 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 denying, 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 that it's coming out in your dreams, and it's freaking you out. So I think, like, get yourself some kind of support, some kind of anchor where you can start to begin to come to terms with, hi, I'm Tate and I have psychic abilities. So yeah, to reiterate, Tate goes, when I'm sleeping I have dreams, and then the next day I have or see that thing happen. What is happening to me? What is happening to me, you, is that you have a gift that you have been denying, and the gift is like, yeah, you ain't gonna deny me no more. You are not going to keep sending me away. I belong here too. Is this all real? I think it's real, but clearly you want the easy answer, which is like, it's not an easy answer. You're feeling it. You're feeling it. You've been feeling it for a long time. So I think it might help you to start by getting some kind of support and some kind of way of anchoring yourself in this knowing, and acceptance is the beginning of shifting something, and it kind of accepting that this is what's going on, and then helping yourself and allowing your gift to then express itself through you. I think that in like a few years, when you've done that, you're going to be dynamite. You're going to be dynamite. um but you just got to allow it. You got to allow it to go through. And then, how can I stop it? Okay, I'm gonna pull cards to how can I stop it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna stop. I just feel like you're just gonna continue fighting with something that will eventually win. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, just think of like a Gemini, right? A Gemini, it's the twins. They both belong there. But so if one twin is like, no, I'm in charge, you don't exist. There comes a point where the second twin is like, yeah, the fuck, I don't exist. I'm here too. I need my version, like I need my space in the house too. And it's just gonna rise up, and you're either going to coexist harmoniously with your gift and your abilities, or you're just going to lose your mind and end up as a crazy person walking on Las Vegas Boulevard talking to yourself and trying to kick your gift out. So I think maybe start by getting some kind of help and anchor to um oh, that was interesting. Did you see the hmm. All right, so that's the end of your reading, Tate. um okay, yeah, I hope that helped. Clear some of that freaky energy. I don't often get freaked out, but I swear to you, I've never had so many things happen. It's like the internet and lights be out here flashing. I don't like it. It's bad enough when you're alone and you're like, what was that? What was that? All right, so anyway, back to Earth. So the third one, Rosie. My boyfriend of 4 years always wants me to pay for things, even though he is the one from a wealthy family and makes a lot more money than me. This pisses me off already. How can I tell him that I'm feeling taken advantage of? Is he even aware of what he's doing to me? And should I break up with him? Oh, now this sounds like some piping hot tea that we need to know some answers to. All right, so 4 years though. And this is what's been going on. All right, so let's tune in. Okay, yeah. All right, so it feels to me, I get the sense, the energy signature that yeah, your boyfriend for some reason just he he can't help himself. He sees you as like he sees you as like the person who has it together, and that there's almost a like, you have it together, I don't have. He comes across as kind of a bit of a younger energy, very like just maybe a bit emotionally and otherwise immature. And so he sees you a little bit like his mother. Yeah, so you got to take care of things for him and make sure that he's okay and he's set, and that includes paying for everything. So now I do have a question: that if he's from a wealthy family and he makes more money from you than you, where does his money go to? Um, and also, if you've been together for 4 years and this has been happening for 4 years, I have a question of why have you allowed it to happen for 4 years? Because there's got to be a point where you're like, no, I mean, you make more than I do, you've got to contribute the same. And like, because clearly, like, where is his money going to? I mean, it doesn't mean just because that person is from like a wealthy family that them it's their money or that they have access to it. But you also said that he makes more than you. Where is his money going? Um, I I'm already like annoyed. I'm just already annoyed at the situation. All right, so it does feel, unfortunately, that he seems to be kind of set in his ways, and that there is something about you that brings out that aspect to him, which also means that if he was dealing with someone else, somebody else probably wouldn't be bringing that aspect out of him. So um I feel like this might be something that would be ongoing, that has been ongoing, and that would continue being ongoing. So how can I tell him I'm feeling taken advantage of? I feel like you would need to yeah, I do feel like a fear in how he's going to respond and what he's going to say. And it means something to you that he takes your worries seriously. But the unfortunate thing is, if he's been doing it for 4 years, there's just this feeling of he's not willing to change now. Um yeah, he's just like really focused on the money, and like, but where is his money going? That's what, where is his money going? All right, so how can you tell him? Let me tune in. I feel like you're just gonna have to come out and say it, love. You're just gonna have to sit him down at some point and be like, look, I'm feeling taken advantage of. And it's a very simple conversation. Simple does not mean easy, it just means simple. Broken down to its absolute basic components, it's simple. Sir, you make more money than I do, but you have me paying for everything. This is not fair. We need to change this. Um, but I feel like there's just so much that goes into that, especially because if this has been the dynamic that's been going on for 4 years, then it's also a very difficult, if downright near impossible dynamic to change, because he's not willing to change. If he's willing to let his girlfriend, who makes more than, is it girlfriend? Yeah, girlfriend who makes less than him, pay for everything, then mate is cushy. He's not willing to change that. There's something very happy. He's very happy with it. So he's not willing to change that. What is wrong with this man? There's just like, so I guess he's like hoarding his money. He's hoarding his. It's like, so okay, what's yours is ours. What's mine is mine alone. All right. So how can I tell him I'm feeling taken advantage of? You sit him down and you tell him that. And if he questions you, as in like, oh no, it's not, blah 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 blah. And also, there might be a bit of a, I just feel like he's somebody that would make it difficult for you, as in like, prove it, or why do you think that, or just make it difficult. and just, try to keep your cool and be like, this is what's happening. Like, this is how it's been happening. And I'm sure you can prove it. Um, is he even aware of what he is doing to me? All right. So I feel like, I don't know. I just don't feel like your boyfriend is stupid. So if he's not stupid, he can't not be aware of this. It just makes no sense. If anybody who can do basic mathematics will know that it's just like, if what if your income is larger than your outgoings, you have savings. If your income is less than your outgoings, you have debt, right? Like, it's just very, very simple. So if he is holding on to a whole bunch of money, even though he knows that you're the one who's paying for everything, but you make less than the money, I don't know. I'm finding it very difficult to fathom this situation. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me. So is he even aware of it? Um, I feel like he is justifying it by the fact that he's got goals. I don't know. Does he have a business or something where he spends time working on his own and is mostly autonomous, and is more like solely responsible for the decisions. I get that feeling, so I feel like he justifies it as in, like, I need every penny I can get to get ahead. So I guess in essence it does feel like in my head he is aware of it. And I think because you haven't put up any resistance, he doesn't feel like there's anything wrong in what he's doing. um mm. So even before I ask, should I break up with him, there is an energy of walking away, just leaving that behind. I don't know if you break up with him, but there is an energy of like putting some space and distance between you guys, even if it's temporarily, just to get your head clear. Um, but it just feels like this situation can't continue the way that it's going because you might lose it. Um, but let's see, what else do we need to know about this rather bizarre situation? I feel like you are stronger than you give yourself credit for. I mean, for goodness sake, if you've been able to support this man who has a lot of money for 4 years, then freeing up your resources to only have yourself to look after, I mean, seems like the better thing. You might just need to go find yours, and at least give him some space to see that you, maybe give him some space to miss you, and then come back with a different, with a renegotiation of the terms. The unfortunate thing as well with relationships is sometimes, when you, not sometimes, well, a majority of the times when you get into a relationship, it's all lovey-dovey, so lovey-dovey that you don't want to have the realistic life conversations because it's unromantic, you know and it's so easy to then fall into negative and toxic dynamics because you're not aware of it. You're so busy enjoying the deliciousness of being in love that when one day you wake up and the love has the intensity and the shockingness of the love, and the deliciousness has worn off a little bit, you realize you're in a really not desirable dynamic. So, and that's a lot of times where relationships will tend to break up and disintegrate, because those are the times that you need to renegotiate the terms. But 10 to 1 party is set, one part is very comfortable and doesn't want to renegotiate the terms because they're the one the terms work for them. So I think that usually the party that's uncomfortable will either have to destabilize the situation as a means of, okay, so now we come to negotiate, or you're going to have to walk away. And it seems to me that your relief in a lot of areas comes in just not being in the situation anymore, especially since it doesn't feel like he's willing to change. Yeah, it feels like he takes everything. He takes everything. He takes from you. He just keeps taking, and there's a level of circusry to his taking, and he's not willing to change. Um, it doesn't feel like he's willing to change. And unfortunately, it feels like if you keep going on, in another 4 years, you might still be in the same situation. So there are no yes or no situation. There are no yes or no answers to your situation, but there is an aspect of, if you want to change it, this is what lies behind that. And I do feel like there's a part of you that really wants to change it. I don't feel like you want out just yet, but like in many situations like this, there is that feeling of, I just wish they would change, instead of me having to make the decision to walk away. So, um, so to reiterate, how can I tell him that I'm feeling taken advantage of? You're gonna have to sit him down and explain to him that that's how you're feeling, and then just see how he responds to you. If you're feeling diminished and he's just not willing to change, then you're gonna have to make the decision of who you're going to continue to put first. And I mean, is it fair to continue to put someone who doesn't put to put someone first and ahead of yourself, who doesn't even put you anywhere in the top three? Um, is he even aware of what he's doing to me? I feel like he is aware, and he doesn't care. He doesn't want to change. This situation is very cushy for him. So why would you change something that is good for you? Change often comes when you're uncomfortable with the experience of living in a situation, and then you then have to funnel your energy into changing. And then, should I break up with him? I feel like you already have begun to consider that possibility. And so, with this information, I hope you do make an informed decision. And it just feels like you will be happier and less broke without him in your life. So, I'm sorry that you're going through this, and I hope that you can shift your situation and shift your circumstances and just find you're happy again. Um, yeah, it's not like he's going to miss your money. He's just going to have to dip into his that he's been saving. I mean, where has that been? Where has that money been going to? Anyway, so I'm wishing you all the love and light, um, Rosie, and hope you're going to be okay. Take care of you. All right, we're going to go to the next one. Clear that energy. Ooh, there's some more like crystallized energy in the collective today. Ooh, I wonder what's going on. All right, and I felt like I had to hit those a couple of times because that situation pisses me off. Like, where is his money going to? This man makes a lot of money. Ah, hey, no. Just bring it back. Bring it back. It's not your situation. Bring it back. All right. So, um, the next one is Beth. Oh, this is an exciting one. Okay, so okay. Beth wants a tuning reading on what is blocking her financial abundance. So, yeah, so I remember Shell and I did the February energy reading, and we were like, okay, so February is going to be a bit looser, so there's going to be a little bit more flow. So what is blocking Miss Beth's financial abundance? So what I'm going to do, Beth, is because I usually do these for an hour and I'm already at 50 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you a video of the energy tuning. So I'm going to go ahead and explain though how I do an energy tuning reading. So I have these tuning sorry. I have these tuning forks which correspond to each one of the energy centers in the body. So when I strike one, so this is for the root chakra, I will connect with the root. Freaky stuff is going on. This is freaking me out. I don't know what's going on. Like that was just weird. Okay, so okay, yeah. So I will that will correspond with each of the chakras. Okay, I'm just gonna do a tarot reading so I can freak out in peace, not on camera. All right, so uh Beth's Beth's questions are, why am I always broke? I'm sorry, this is not funny. Oh my, this better not be another energetic release. Why am I always broke? How can I shift my energy to be more authentic to abundance? No, is it authentic? Attractive, sorry. How can I shift my I'm so tired. This- I think it's like partly being tired. It's just a lot of energy running through. And I've been doing energy work all night. So I'm and then I just keep hearing these sounds that make no sense. Like I why it's just and I'm just having these I'm sensing these like really heavy not heavy but just very like these pockets of energy that aren't mine, and it like nothing is making sense to me right now. That you so you know when you have your space and you have your home and you know how everything is, you walk in, you know where everything is, you can find things in the dark. So I think because I'm also connecting, I'm tapping into things that like aren't usually there, but sometimes it's like that's random. Like that, there's no source. There it is. Like so, you know when let's say you hear a sound and you're like, oh, that could be the neighbors. Oh, that could be this person. Well, that could be that. There's no source to what happened. It's like, but where is it coming from? Why? Why are you visiting me now? But thankfully, it's not dark because that would be worse. Okay, coming back to it. So I gone off on detours again. Back to the here and now. Why am I always broke? How can I shift my energy to be more attractive to abundance? How can I get more money in my life? Let's just do a tarot reading because an energy tuning will take a little bit longer than I have time for. So maybe that's something I should do tomorrow actually. Like tomorrow I can do mostly tuning readings, especially to like maybe tune my energy as well to be more receptive to the Friday live. Okay, so how or why am I always broke? Girl, that question just makes me laugh. Why am I always broke? Just it just feels like broke is a bag you have that won't leave you alone. Like just this bag that's just following you around. All right, so why am I always broke? So the first thing that I get is that money is an energy. And I think because of some, I feel like you are emotionally unavailable, especially to things like relationships and connections with other people. So, money being an energy, you in not being receptive and open to certain energies, then you're blocking the energy of money, especially with emotional. So the emotional center happens to be the heart, which is also the center of receptivity. So there it is again. But all right, so the emotional center of receptivity. So if you have a closed off heart, so somebody used this wonderful analogy, which was, maybe it's someone doing something. Anyway, so you know, if you're going through a trauma, let's say you've gone through a breakup, and you're in the space where I was like, I don't want to date again, I don't want anybody of the preferred sex to look at me, whatever. So you put this barrier up against yourself. So even though this barrier is clear, is energetic, this barrier definitely keeps the toxic potential romantic energy and attention from coming at you, but it also blocks everything else from coming at you, whether that's attention, abundance, and money. So I feel like in your particular situation, your blocks to your money, abundance, is tied to your blocks in emotional availability. Your emotional unavailability is your block to your money. Now, I wonder if you had come from a relationship where you would made a lot of money with your partner, or there was a level of financial abundance and uh just like a lot of money. I get that. I get that you may have, well, that would make sense as to why, that if you're emotionally unavailable, especially after a breakup that was tied to money, that now your emotional unavailability is tied to not having any money, if that makes any sense. um all right, so why am I always broke? I feel like it has to do with you breaking up. Why, how can I shift my energy to be more authentic to abundance? It feels like you may have to do work on yeah, okay. King of Wands. King of Wands, if they're tied to a certain person, can be quite problematic. So yeah, okay, so I feel like, yes, you need to take some time by yourself, to yourself, and you need to, whatever therapy looks like to you, I feel like you need to get in and start to deal with and heal and open your heart. And opening your heart can be very difficult when you have a whole bunch of unresolved wounds and a whole bunch of unresolved trauma. So deal with the trauma, deal with the wounds, heal them to the point where you're comfortable opening your heart and letting love back into your heart, into your heart, into your body, into your life, so that with that love flowing, I feel like also in your head you specifically associate love with financial abundance. So if you are currently in a space where your financial abundance was tied to a previous love situation that hurt you to the point that you're going to close your heart, then obviously you're going to also close your heart off and yourself off from receiving the money. So it feels like it's this definitely mutually exclusive situation. So when you've done your work on getting over your situation with your ex and healing and opening your heart again, I feel like your money will start to flow. How can I get more money in my life? Yeah, shift your perspective, heal, and also here's the other part of it. Because since it feels like your association with money, your association with money is associated with your previous relationship, then that's another incentive to shift your perspective and shift your perspective and detach them, like separate them, because I mean, look at how many people who, when they get a divorce, finally get their money in their lives. So in your situation, it's been the opposite. You get a breakup and you feel like you're broke all the time. So yeah, I definitely need to do the the chakra balancing for you, because what I love about the using the tuning fork to do the readings, because I can go into each one of the energy centers and see how they're blocked, why they're blocked, and simultaneously be tuning them to help to like break up some of those crystallized emotions that are lurking in there, and I guess stopping the flow. All right, so how can I get more money in my life? I feel like you have a business or some kind of I don't know if it's your job or something like that. I feel like because you've been so busy looking at the situation that you were trapped in, you're not seeing, see this card here, that because you're so, where's that pen, you're so busy looking at the failed relationship and that, and being emotionally unavailable from that, that you're not seeing what you have access to money wise. I feel like you already have all the tools that you need to make your money. Sky is unlimited. So I think you need to shift your perspective, turn around, change the dynamics. I feel that once you can disentangle perspective wise your association of your previous relationship with money, you start to connect to money again, because you're clearly not going to get back with your ex. So if you think that being with your ex is the only way that you could have been financially abundant, and you're not planning to get back with your ex, does that mean you want to be broke forever? No, no, lady, no. So I definitely feel like there's some opportunities that will come in for you. So just yeah, do your healing, lady. Become the empress and just kind of bring back your power, unplug from all of the energy drains, work on opening your heart. Opening your heart can be really painful when you've been through some real traumas, but with an open heart means you can really just, you can bring the abundance, you can bring the abundance in. But it's hard, it takes work. But I guess that's just like literally the simple answer, the simple version of the answer anyway. So I hope that that helped you, and I will be sending you that video with the tuning. Unfortunately, I've run out of time, which is so interesting because when I started this, I was like, oh gosh, it's so much time. I don't know if I'll fill it. But then, of course, like we said, I could be a contender to talk for the Olympics. So 1 hour is just, it's appetizer for me. Anyway, ooh, energy thing there. All right, so clear up that energy, and just once again, please join myself and Shell on Friday for our 10-hour live. That's 2 days away, and it begins at 7 a.m. Las Vegas time and 3 p.m. London time. Looking forward to seeing you. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.